I'd like to welcome Gary Dudley Utz.
My hometown wombs and worms and wiggles through my mind like a womb full of redneck snakes, slithering unseen through the rusty tin shed of my life, down the back with me brother, and round and round and round until I feel quite ill, exhuming the life I left in the garden city, where the roots of my family trees were impregnated into every cell of my horoscope, cast on that cool evangelic eve in March 55, when the new showground lights came alive at the precise blinding moment that I was born. It was a story my mum told with pride, because on the town's poorer side, in the Toowoomba General Hospital, she tried, high on nitrous oxide, her lily-white legs in leather stirrups tied, finally gave birth to a reluctant 6 pound 2 ounces of all 53 years of my gender dysphoria. Now, I don't remember the doctor's rubber gloves pulling me towards suburbia. Nor do I remember the shattered skies of my mother's exhausted blue eyes. Nor the blood of the embryonic fluid. I once asked my aunt what I was like as a child. All she said was, "Oh, you were a clingy little thing." No wonder I was a clingy little thing, because every Friday night, when Mum and I heard the drunken one-legged monster, our blood would freeze with fear and we would shiver. "Ah, you bloody bastard!" His voice, like a bomb, explodes outside into my mother's skirt. I hide as the war is getting closer. "Ah, you friggin' bastard!" My mother's nerves all twisted tight, her face an ashen white. "Mum, Mum, I implore," but no comfort comes to ease the war. Hard, a wooden leg upon a step when the house begins to shudder. "Bastards! You're all bloody bastards!" Back doors open wide. The monsters come inside, and through the biting, brittle air I will stare for my first 5 years in horror outside a womb full of redneck snakes. So this teeny little thing clung to its mother, who would bend down and a broken voice utter, "We'll get a place on our own, and then we'll be happy." After 4 years of war, I almost died from a rheumatic fever in my heart. But Mum, before you kill the light, please remember my kiss. Good night, Mother, good night. Into what lifeless void did I peep? when at 4 I lay my soul down for God to keep. In the dark and velvet deep beats my bruised and fevered heart, and through the shadows next to love, my one-legged monster sleeps. Good night, mother, don't weep. And then I woke up, and after my first day of school, I ran. After which my mother announced her master plan. Your husband Dudley is coming home to Toowoomba, and from now on will be working and living with us, and he'll no longer be touching the drink. Now, my family name in Lower Schwaber German means drunk. It says so in the Grimm's etymological word book. So, there I was, watching in mute wonder my sober father growing a prize-winning garden, fragrantly leaving me to ponder how could each transcendent bloom be planted by a one-legged monster, who said to me 18 years later, "The doctor was just here. He says it's my heart. I've got to go into hospital tomorrow." So into the hospital in which I was born, I flew. And there in Ward B, I knew would be the soldier whose only weapon was his temper, his only crime his pain. To keep a roof over our heads, he worked like a one-legged Trojan pushing the steam press up and down, perpetually balanced on the gangrene-withered stump of his right leg. No wonder he yelled, no wonder he died prematurely. The bell rings. Visiting hour is over. Mum bends down, kisses her husband on the cheek, and leaves. It's just Dad and I, and we stare at each other. It's just Dad and I, and we stare at each other. The bell shatters the ward once more. The other visitors leave. He reaches out and grabs my hand. The monster is holding my hand. I have an overwhelming urge to hug him, something we just don't do. It's just my father and I, and we stare at each other. But the fear in his eyes makes me want to run, but he tightens his granite grip. The night sister is getting closer. The bell rings one final time. I have to leave, don't I? I have to leave. So my hand from out the monster slips as I break my father's grip. Dad, did I desert you hours later when your heart came under attack? But never fear. Medicine is always here and has a macabre way of bringing the dead back. And after his immaculate resurrection lay a new brain-damaged monster upon their sterile rack. And in the mental health ward, surrounded by mental and muttering men, my mother and I would go to visit now and then, to listen to the slurred vowels of a happy monster who would say, "G'day, glad to see ya." He was happy for the first time in his life. Mum, I think I'll go home. I'll leave now and watch Star Trek. You may as well. There's nothing you can do here, she said. But Dad, hearing only one word, sat up and said, "You're not leaving home, are you? I thought we were friends." And that one word has echoed to eternity. Oh, what jewels and coffins lie, and that I should have been so blind. The next day, my one-legged monster grew wings and flew into my heart, and there he stayed.